Welcome back. It's Jeff and Olivia, and we are here again to go ahead and talk about a really awesome subject: 5 ways that we save thousands of dollars every year.
Not one, not two, not four, but five, and they all work.
This is our channel where we talk about things about early retirement and things that we can do to be frugal and to also just enjoy our retirement years.
Yes.
So, without further ado, we're going to get into our first one, which is food shopping.
Whoop, whoop.
Whew.
We all have to eat.
Oh my goodness. I am an impulse buyer, and my wife is an impulse buyer. My daughter in California is an impulse buyer. She even admits it. So she is the one that said, Mom, Dad, I know that you guys are impulse buyers. You want to save some money. And I said, I'm all ears, dear. She said, I'm going to put you on my Instacart account. And I began to really look into how I can use that to my advantage to save a lot of money. And boy, was I surprised.
Yes, it was. And not just to save money, but save money on gas. Okay. Because we don't have to go out.
Yep.
They bring it to us.
Exactly. And then in Florida, we get those afternoon thunderstorms. It's right about that time you need something. Let somebody else drive through that stuff. But anyway, so when we began to look at what we actually spent when we went to the supermarket, we would go in for one or two items and always come out with more than we went in for, sometimes to the tune of $50 or $60 more. And when you add that up over, weeks and a month and then a year, it literally can come out to about, on an average of about $1,200 to $1,500 extra that you didn't want to go ahead and spend.
And sometimes if you have a little bit disorganized pantry, you'll notice that you had 4 of the items that you rebought that you didn't need to buy.
Such a pain. But anyway, so I began to also look at how can I go ahead and share this with people so that it would be economical for them. Because frankly, when you go on an Instacart or any other of those home delivery systems, there's always a membership fee, which is usually yearly.
Yes.
And I believe Instacart at the time I was looking at it was around $95. Well, when you begin to look at getting a bunch of friends together who have a like-minded attitude, who want to save money, and everybody pitches in, you can have multiple people on that Instacart account. My daughter has myself and my wife. We have our own separate login under her account, and then she has other friends that are on her account as well. And so we just use it whenever we need it, and it has saved us a ton of money and a ton of time. And I really, really highly suggest that you look into some of these services that will bring things to your home and utilize them in a way that's going to save you the money.
And not only that, statistics show, research shows that even when you go shopping and you don't stay within the periphery of the supermarket, you're going to go into those aisles and they're going to pull you in like a magnet, and you won't know what's happening. And bang, you buy 15 of the same thing that you had at home. It's an enchantment.
And then pharmacies, well, they're all popping up inside of supermarkets. I think every supermarket here in Florida has a pharmacy in it.
Yeah.
And why? You go in to go ahead and get your prescription, and then you're like, oh, I'll get some milk while I'm at it, some eggs and everything. And then all of a sudden you've got a whole cart full of stuff and you're out the door. That's what they planned on you doing. And those BOGOs, the buy one, get one free.
Not so much.
Not so much. You got to really look into those too, because they can be very misleading. You need to go ahead, be a savvy shopper, and know your prices.
And I've got to say something from another practical perspective is safety issues. The elderly go in. Sometimes the eyes we had in the back of our heads raising our kids, those have faded into the dust. So, they're just things happening that never happened before. And if you can do your shopping and have it, brought home, I think that's another safety measure.
Exactly. And then do some extra laps around your neighborhood to get that exercise in. Number 2, pets. Oh my goodness. Now, listen, I don't and tell anybody that you shouldn't have pets, because pets, we had them all our lives.
They were such a godsend and such joy. Best. The kids love it. As we grew older, we came back from South America, we decided we'd get a cat. We even adopted an elderly cat. Why? Yes. Because everybody wants kittens. So we've had Pumpkin 8 years. So he's 18 years old with a tad bit of dementia. But having said that, he's never really cost us a lot of money as far as sickness. But, the cat food, the kitty litter, everything's going up.
Yep.
We pay $50 a month for his rent. Whoever heard of that? Boy. And we had to pay $400 for security when we brought him in. So, it adds up.
And then the place that we live in, they have a service that kind of supposedly keeps track of all the paperwork for your pet, and they charge $15 a year. So you get hit with that fee. And then you have your monthly fees of just your food and all the other things that you get for the
And
animal
we feed
and
our
vet fees.
our cat well. We
Yes.
get wellness, which doesn't have all of the stuff in it that is detrimental to their health. So we really take care of our pet. But I think this is going to be our last hurrah.
Yep.
We are really busy and we don't want to leave him alone, so we get a babysitter. So I think this is, when he goes to kitty heaven, that will be the last one
Kitty
for us.
heaven. So anyway, so we're really just talking to you who are maybe considering getting an animal to go ahead and just give it a second thought. Really look into it and think about it because it can get expensive. Number 3,
Da, 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 da. Shopping.
online shopping,
Oh my
particularly
gosh,
who?
Amazon.
Amazonian. Anyway, so Amazon, yes, I love Amazon. It has changed over the years,
Yes,
hasn't
it has. Yeah.
it? It has really become a whole different way of shopping, and they know it too. And they've been able to go ahead and figure out ways to lure you into just the convenience of it and everything else, in the sense that you won't go ahead and check prices because you've been conditioned to go ahead and get things at Amazon because they're cheaper.
Yes.
And that's not the case
But
100%
steadily
now.
it's done this.
Yep.
I used to be able to get a dress for $15. Now they're $60, $65. Not the same.
They're not the same at all. So Amazon has a hidden little gem in there, and it's called Amazon Resale. Used to be Amazon Warehouse. And so what happens is that all the items that people didn't want, or maybe they got it was the wrong color, and the only problem is that the box has been opened. And maybe there's also one that's a little bit used, but they just didn't like the way it performed or whatever for their liking, and they wanted to send it back in. But it's perfectly good. It's there for resale. You can get fantastic buys. I did some comparisons today, and just to give you an example, there were some earbuds that I was looking at, and they were normally $129, and they were $60 on the resale thing. And the only thing that they said was there was a little scratch on the cover, and that was it. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to just be a savvy shopper and just do your due diligence and find out who's got the best buys, because there's a lot of competition out there and they're vying for your business. So for instance, my wife went ahead, for instance, and found this Halston dress. It is $129 on the tag.
Brand new.
Brand spanking new, and she is getting it for $10 because
Yes.
it is half off today. So these are the kind of buys and things like that that you can get when you're thrifting. Number 4, thrifting.
Which is my forte, okay? We have a little tidbit on this one, the Halston dress. We've got a Ralph Lauren. Beautiful dress. I priced it. It was $145. Guess what? I paid $8. I've got a Yvonne Pecan, which sells originally for $220. This one I got, it was a little bit more expensive, $8.99. Okay, sorry.
Aye, aye, aye. Take it back.
And this is a Julian Taylor. I got this the other day on the special $5. And people go, Olivia, where do you get your clothes? It's a family secret. It's a sensational.
And I'm wearing my brand new shirt, which I got for $3 today with the tags on it. So thrifting is now what everybody does. Now, what used to be Goodwill.
Yes.
And Goodwill is no
Not
longer,
so much.
here in Florida at least.
Our Goodwill is a little high priced, and we find that sometimes they sell more than it's sold for in the stores. But I mean, if I had the money, I would still thrift, because these dresses are incredible and they fit to size and they're not a stain. They're brand spanking new. So treasure is my treasure.
Exactly. And she loves to find a good buy, and she will go down and come back and be so excited and have only spent a little bit of money. And when we add up all of the dollar amounts of those top drawer items, is what I call them, and versus what we paid for them, actually, it's a fraction of the cost. It's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of clothes
a year
that are in our closet that we've only paid, probably under $100 for, or whatever.
I would definitely search out Habitat for Humanity and Salvation Army, because then I can assure you can get really good buys there.
And number 5, last but not least, good old prescription medications. I'll tell you, they can add up really, really fast, and we have found some ways to save some money on these. We are lucky in our Medicare plan that we have an Advantage plan, and they do a great job of covering the expenses of medications. Because as you get older, let's just face it, there's going to be something that's going to come up that's going to take you by surprise, and you're going to need that. But there are a lot of drugs that are not being covered by insurances anymore. And also, too, the drug companies in the United States have a way of repatenting these particular drugs. It can be for one thing, and then they'll find out that it's good for another type of a condition, and they'll repatent that so that that patent extends.
And it's a separate entity,
Yeah,
almost.
and they can't do any generics on it, so it keeps the drug prices super, super high. But anyways, there was a woman who's now gone viral on YouTube,
and she was on the news.
And she was on the news, and she went into her doctor. He prescribed for her 6 pills. There we are.
Numero 6.
6 pills. And she went to the pharmacy, dropped off a prescription. They called her up and they said, ma'am, they said, your insurance is not going to cover this. And she goes, well, how much is the cost? They said, $1,000. She said, you have got to be kidding me. I can't afford that. She called her doctor. Her doctor said, listen, why don't you go ahead and try Canada, see what they can do. She called the Canadian pharmacy up there, and they said, yes, we can go ahead and definitely fill the prescription for you. And she said, all right, well, how much is this for the 6 pills? He goes, it'll be $10. Oh, yeah. Can you believe that? And he says, but the most expensive part is our shipping, which will be 15, but that's 25 altogether. What do you think? She says, absolutely.
Send me 12.
Here's my credit card. I'm ready to go. And so you really need to go ahead and just be aware of what other resources are available out there, because we get so conditioned to just go ahead and just depend on our insurance. And if the insurance doesn't do it, then we're like, oh, wow, I guess I'm not going to be able to afford that drug or what have you. But Canada is a great option. My wife uses Planet Drugs Direct.
I've been using them for since I came back from South America. It was 2017. And they always call me to let me know when my prescription's due, if I'm going to get it that month, if I still have an active prescription referral. And they're so good. And I can tell you, it was $65 less than the medication that I got in the States.
And CanadaPharmacy.com and RxConnected.com. And these are just a sample of some of the Canadian pharmacies that will go ahead and ship here. FDA approves this. So you're not doing anything illegal at all. It is something that you have the right to do. Now, when we lived in South America, our drug costs were like next to none. I would go in.
They were none.
They were none, exactly. And then now India, too. A lot of people are using India pharmacies because little did you know that most of our drugs are manufactured in India or over in China.
Right. So Turkey also.
In Turkey as well. But you can go to India and you can get on some of their websites as well, and you can get that same kind of service. These are just other ways to go ahead and cut those big costs. So with those 5 that we've given you, I hope that's helped you. I hope that gives you just a little idea in your head to go ahead and do some research and think about what you could possibly implement into your own life. These are what we use on a regular basis to keep our expenses down. And please leave a comment if you have any questions, and we will go ahead and be back next week with our next awesome video that we have for you guys.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends about this, because you would be surprised how many people that are living out their golden years don't know these little tidbits of information, and it would be a huge difference in their budget. So please share it with your friends. We hope you have a great week. Hasta la próxima.
Adios.